We aren't gone. This is the future. Join us. And they thought that when they came and they maced us and they beat us and they ripped our tents, that we'd just go home. Silly rabbit. I am a Bernie Democrat. But I'm not mimicking Bernie. I don't think any of us here are. Bernie is speaking for us because we all feel the same. We all think the same. We all stand the same, more or less, on the issues that matter to all the people. There's nobody else that does that. Everybody else wants us to go to war. Bernie Sanders wants us to get the troops back and take care of them. Bernie Sanders is for trade, fair trade, not trade that continues to move jobs out of our country, put more people in unemployment lines, drain the middle class of what little it has left. And he takes a stand and he sticks with it until you can prove him being in the wrong. Bernie Sanders will listen to people if they get a point, and if you don't, he'll stick to his guns because he's going to do what's right for the majority of the people in our country. And that's because he doesn't take money from anybody but the majority of the people in this country. I don't care what politician you are, I don't care what side of the aisle you're on, if you take the corporate money, you represent the corporations, you don't speak for me, they don't speak for any of us. They throw us crumbs from the table to get elected. They like to say how they're moving to the left, like a certain candidate for president now, but the reality of the reality of the situation is that Hillary Clinton is not moving to the left. She's talking towards the left. And if she wins, snap right back where she came from. We have a corporate controlled democracy, you can call it that. We have an illusion of a democracy. Nothing more. When our vote doesn't mean anything, how can they say that we have a democratic system? How? Well, here's what they're trying to tell us. We'll let you vote. As long as you vote for who we want to go with. You get your chance. Oh, well, thanks a lot for showing up, but we're going to go with this one. It's a rigged system. Trump is right. Oh my God.
Yeah, the
But let me preface that by saying, even the clock is right.
Yeah,
right
I know. Totally hurts.
Stating the obvious. We all know we have a rigged system. It doesn't mean that they're going to use it all the time. It means that it's in place so that when they don't like what we do, it's there to use and manipulate. They're doing it on the Republican side, and there's a possibility that will happen on the Democratic side, and we can't let that happen. We have to get the word out. I'm speaking now to the people in New York. I'm speaking now to everybody who hasn't had a primary yet. Don't do it. Don't vote until you hear Bernie Sanders. Don't vote until you hear the roar from the people here, the roar from the people across this country, begging you to make the right decision and vote for a future that we would be proud to leave for our children. A future where fossil fuels are not dominant.
Yeah!
A future where there's opportunity. Not for a job at McDonald's for the rest of your life. Opportunity for a job where you can make a decent living, where you can raise your kids, educate your kids to the finest education in the world, and retire early before your body's battered and beaten. Spend the rest of your life in misery while you live off a minuscule check that covers half of your rent and half of your medicine. The plan of Big Pharma isn't to cure us, but to keep us a little bit out of pain so we keep buying their product. And we still have that in our medical system. As long as we have a healthcare system that includes the insurance companies and Big Pharma, we're never going to get the quality of care in this country that everybody deserves. I'm a very emotional person. And I'm not running for a career. I'm running for the same reason that I believe Bernie Sanders is running. Duty, a sense of duty.
Yeah.
Love for his country, love for the people in this country, and a desire to leave this world in better shape than when we got here. That's it. And like Bernie Sanders, I also understand that I can't do it alone. Or can these other candidates behind me? Or can Bernie Sanders. But if we get enough people, enough of a wedge into that divided House and Senate we have, maybe we can make them do their job, and maybe we can get enough of a wedge in there to kick a couple of them off to the side.
Yeah.
A lot of, yeah, I was about to say that, maybe a couple more. But understand this, and I've said it before, there's nothing I can do or say if I go to D.C. by myself. But if I can stand there and say, we need to end wars, we need to bring the troops home, we need to take care of the elderly, the infirm, we need to treat the veterans, we need to provide jobs, fair trade, decent housing, food,
And the
enough,
Our animals.
and the animals.
Yeah.
Nick, we could be here all day. That's the
Human and
That's the whole point. There's so many things we have to fix.
Human and non-human. Let's just go human and non-human animals. They're all
But
good.
if I go there, I'm saying that. They're going to say, you'll be gone in 2 years. You're a flash in the pan. What are you going to do? And I'm going to say, you're right. And I'm going to open up the blinds. And I'm going to say, but what about all those people? Are they going to be gone in 2 years? And there's going to be millions of people out that window. And I'm just going to look at them and go, no, they won't be gone. But they'll be back in 2 years to vote. So my message to the people here today is to not give up, not to get mad, but to get determined. Because here's the thing. In the past, we had issues that we would take on, activists, progressives. Vietnam War. We stopped the Vietnam War. We stepped back. Civil rights. We thought we brought equality to America. It looked like it was heading that way, and we stepped back. And when we did that, and we stopped the war in Vietnam, the war machine geared up. And we did what we thought was enough to get rid of racism in our country. The racists geared up. We can't stop this time, because we're facing the biggest problem, the biggest threat to humanity that's ever occurred in this planet, climate change. Woo! Yeah! I'm a member of the Delta 5. We blocked an oil train in the Everett Delta Yard back in 2014, for 8 hours. We erected a tripod and chained ourselves to it. And it took 30 cops 8 hours to figure out how to get us out of there. Eventually, they cut us out with the jaws of life, and they took Abby off the top with a cherry picker from a fire truck. And we went to trial on that this January 11th, a week-long trial, where for the first time in the history of our nation, we were allowed to use the necessity defense in a climate justice trial. And we didn't lose. At the end, the judge yanked it because he said we hadn't made enough of a case that there was nothing else we could do. We could have had more demonstrations, legal demonstrations. We could have had more protests. We could have leafleted more to get our government to do something. We haven't used up all our legal means. That's part of the necessity defense. That's part of the tier you have to meet to get the necessity defense. But the jury wasn't happy with that. They walked out of the room and they spent 4 hours deliberating, not on whether we were guilty or innocent, but how to get us off on all the charges. When they came back, they found us guilty of trespassing, but they found us innocent of stopping the oil train for 8 hours. Technicality kind of. And then they came into the hallway before sentencing to talk to us, to tell us how much they appreciated what we were doing, to hug us, and to agree to join the Civil Disobedience Center in Boston, and to help us train other jurors on how to beat it the next time we have to